Good evening and welcome. While your political gurus, politricians, and active tricks, oops, I meant activists, are numerating on how to trick our people, let me share my thoughts. Last week, President Boakai delivered his State of the Nation address, painting a rosy picture of progress and prosperity. This, sadly, is the story of a nation still waiting for promises to be kept. President Boakai's address, instead of inspiring hope, has been met with deep skepticism and outright anger by opposition parties and civil society groups. The Liberian dollar is currently trading at a dismal 219 to 1 US dollar. That's not an exchange rate, it's a cry for help. Boakai campaigned on a platform of change. But for many Liberians, the only change they've seen is the increasing weight of their struggles. This isn't just about broken promises, it's about broken trust. When a leader stands before their people and makes grand claims that don't reflect the reality on the ground, it breeds cynicism and disillusionment. And let's be clear, the problems facing Liberia are not just the result of global trends or external forces. They are, in large part, self-inflicted wounds caused by poor governance, endemic corruption, and a blatant disregard for the rule of law. Dissecting things a little, let's start with healthcare, shall we? In President Boakai's Trick of the Nation address, yes, right, you heard. Trick of the Nation, not State of the Nation. Healthcare didn't appear to have been a priority, because who needs functioning hospitals when you can have eloquent speeches about progress? The reality is that Liberia's healthcare system is teetering on the brink of collapse. JFK Hospital, the nation's premier medical facility, is plagued by chronic shortages of essential supplies. Healthcare workers, the unsung heroes of any functioning society, are overworked, underpaid, and demoralized. And rural healthcare? Let's just say it's often more a case of hope for the best than receive medical attention. Then there's the economy, which Boakai conveniently forgot to mention is currently performing worse than a mime at an interpretive dance competition. Inflation is soaring like a majestic eagle. Except this eagle is snatching food from the mouths of ordinary Liberians. Unemployment is rampant. Businesses are closing faster than the politicians promise, and the agricultural sector, the backbone of the nation, is on its knees. And Boakai's solution? A cashless economy. Brilliant. Because nothing screams progress like forcing a population with limited access to electricity and internet to rely on technology they don't understand for basic transactions. And who can forget about the roads? Those glorious ribbons of asphalt that Boakai promised to fix within his first 100 days in office. Well, here we are years later, and those promises have been as elusive as a sober night out for a college student. The Yellow Machine Initiative, touted as a game changer, has barely made a dent in the problem. Rural roads remain impassable for much of the year, cutting off communities and stifling economic activity. Opposition figures are being silenced, critical voices are being suppressed, and the legal system is looking more and more like a tool of political repression. Boakai talks a good game about unity and reconciliation, but his actions tell a different story. Mass dismissal of civil servants based on political affiliation? Check. Manipulation of the judiciary to silence dissent? Check. Creating a climate of fear and intimidation? Check, check, check. And then there's the corruption. Corruption, the lifeblood of any self-respecting kleptocracy. Boakai claims to be tough on graft, but the reality is that it's thriving under his watch. High-level officials implicated in corruption scandals, they're still enjoying their ill-gotten gains. Independent auditing units rendered toothless and ineffective, You bet. It's almost as if Boakai's administration is using the country's coffers as their own personal piggy bank. So, what's the takeaway from all of this? Simply put, Liberia under President Boakai is a nation failing to live up to its potential. It's a country where promises are made to be broken, where corruption flourishes, and where the hopes and aspirations of ordinary citizens are trampled underfoot. The boycott of Boakai's address by 8 senators, over 25 representatives, and the entire Supreme Court speaks volumes about the lack of confidence in his leadership. This is not the time for complacency. It's time for accountability. It's time for real change. The Liberian people deserve better. They deserve a government that works for them, not against them. They deserve a future filled with hope, not despair. Whether they get it, well, that's a different story altogether. And on that cheery note, before I take my exit, let me remind you that the eagle just returned to its nest. Surprise! Your narrator, your humble servant, Lofa.